Your ants aren't asleep, they are not dead, and they are definitely not just chilling. What they do during winter is far stranger, and most ant keepers misunderstand it completely. Winter in the ant world looks silent from the outside, but inside the nest, everything changes. Ants don't hibernate like mammals. They enter something far stranger, called diapause, biological slow motion mode that affects the queen, the workers, and even the brood. Let's start by clearing up the biggest misconception. They don't sleep, they don't hibernate in the way people imagine. No deep slumber, no cozy nap, no dreaming of sugar water. Diapause is more like putting a laptop into low power mode. Still on, still alive, but using as little energy as physically possible. And this slowdown transforms the entire colony. Workers stop foraging, they stop feeding the queen, they stop raising brood. They even reduce digestion because digesting food burns too much energy. The whole colony shifts from growth mode to survival mode. And the queen, she becomes almost perfectly still, barely moving, barely breathing, but fully alive. Her body slows down to preserve energy and resources, just like in the wild. But this is where winter gets complicated, and it's the part beginners ask about the most. What happens to eggs, larvae, and pupae in winter? Well, here's the truth. It really depends. Different species behave differently. Different temperatures matter. Humidity matters. How slowly you cooled the colony matters. This is not a one-rule-fits-all situation. Eggs are the most vulnerable during cold conditions. In many temperate species, queens stop laying entirely before winter hits. But if eggs are already present when the cold arrives, two things might happen. If the temperature drops too fast or too far, eggs often die or are eaten by the workers. Not out of cruelty, but because ants recycle the nutrients. If conditions are stable and mild, eggs may simply pause development and survive until warmth returns. Beginners shouldn't panic if eggs disappear. It's a normal colony decision in winter. Larvae are usually the safest brood stage in winter. They slow their metabolism to almost nothing. They eat very little to nothing. They don't grow. They essentially hang in a biological hold pattern. As long as humidity is good and the setup didn't dry out, larvae can survive winter just fine. This is why many keepers prefer colonies to go into diapause with larvae rather than eggs or pupae. Pupae are the tricky ones. They can survive winter, but they are sensitive. If conditions are stable and the species naturally diapause, pupae may simply stop development. But if humidity drops, temperature swings, or the nest gets too cold, pupae may fail to eclose entirely. Some keepers even recommend avoiding diapause when pupae are present. Development can stall or collapse. So, if your colony had pupae before winter, don't expect progress. Don't expect colour darkening, don't expect a closing. They pause, and sometimes they just don't make it. This doesn't mean you failed, it's just how nature prioritises survival. Inside the nest, silent, but highly organised. Even when they look dead, workers are incredible winter survivors. They cluster tightly into a living insulation ball. They rotate positions so cold ants warm up again. They maintain just enough movement to prevent freezing. They preserve the queen with their combined body heat. Some species even produce natural antifreeze chemicals inside the bodies to survive freezing temperatures. Winter looks still, but the colony is adapting in the most efficient way evolution ever designed. How do I know they're actually alive? Beginners fear this constantly. Here's your test. Cold ants move in slow motion. Tap the side of the test tube or nest gently. You'll see a tiny twitch, a reposition, or a very slow stretch of the leg. Now please, only do this once and only if you are really concerned. Constantly tapping on the test tube can cause issues. Stillness isn't danger. Stillness is survival. Winter phase. Winter isn't wasted time. It's the reset button, the clean slate, the biological reboot. When temperatures rise again, the queen starts laying. Larvae resume growth, pupae continue development. Workers begin organising the nest. The colony ramps back into full activity. What looks like nothing happening is actually the foundation for the entire spring boom. I'm working on a video that covers exactly what to expect when your colony wakes up, how fast brood develops, why some colonies explode in numbers, and how to give them the best possible start to the season. Keep an eye out for that one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Let's make it fantastic. Farewell.